Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Math is Easy, step by step. So in this part 61 video, we're going to be multiplying fractions in decimal form, right? We got 1/2 times 3/4. And remember, every fraction is a division problem. The numerator divided by the denominator, or the top divided by the bottom. So here, 1 divided by 2, and 3 divided by 4. So the first step is, hey, let's convert fractions into decimals. So again, 1/2 is 1 divided by 2, right? And I'm going to ask myself, 2 times what number gives me 1? Now, there's no whole number that would give me 1, right? So there's an invisible 0 right above that 1. Now that 1 turns into a 2, right? Oh, don't forget, to the right of the 1 is an invisible decimal. I'm showing that decimal and I raise it just above that divisor bar, right? So that 1 now becomes 10, right? Because the digit to the right of 1 is 0. 1 and 0 is 10. 2 times what number gets me closest to 10 without going over? Well, I know 2 times 5 is 10. So I will subtract 10 from 10 and I get 0. I bring down the next digit, that's 0. 2 times 0 gives me 0. So 1/2 fraction as a decimal is 0.50. So you can see that here. Again, 1/2 or 1 divided by 2 gives me a decimal value of 0.50, or 50 hundredths, right? 50 hundredths. Okay, so 1/2 is equivalent to 0.50. They're both equal to each other. One is in fraction form, the other is in decimal form. And if you've been following along with my fractional videos, you know we convert this decimal into a percent. The third equivalent form that I've been instructing is percent. So we move the decimal 2 places to the right, add the symbol, 50%. So 1/2 is equal to 0.50, which is equal to 50%. All equivalent to each other, just different ways to write the value. Okay, so I hope you see that there. Hey, let's convert the other fraction into a decimal. Okay, so you can see here how 3/4 is 3 divided by 4, right? Or 3 divisor bar 4. To the right of the 3 is an invisible decimal. I'm just going to show it here. And you're going to raise that decimal right above the divisor bar as you see there. Now, what number times 4? What number times 4 will give me 3? Closest to 3 without going over. And there are no whole numbers, right? So there's a placeholder here of 0. So now I'm going to include the digit to the right of 3. So 3 becomes 30. 4 times what number gets me closest to 30 without going over? Okay, I know 4 times 5 would be 20. So add 4 more, and that's 4 times 6, 24. Add 4 more, and that's 4 times 7, which would be 28. So 4 times what number gets me closest to 30 without going over? All right, so you said 7. You're absolutely correct. 4 times 7 gets me 28. That's closest to 30 without going over. Now I'm going to subtract the product of 4 times 7, which is 28, from 30. 30 minus 28 gives me a 2. I'm going to take the digit to the right of the 0, bring it down. That turns the 2 into a 20. Now my question is, 4 times what number gets me closest to 20 without going over? All right, you said 5. You are absolutely on the money. 4 times 5 is 20. So I'll subtract the product. Again, that's an answer to multiplication problem. 5 times 4, 20. From our target of 20, that gives me 0. I can take the next digit, bring it down. That's a 0, 0, 0. So 4 times 0 gives me 0. 4 times 0 gives me 0. I can go on and on and on and on and on forever. I'm going to stop with 0.75. 3/4 is equal to 0.75 as a decimal. All right, so you can see here 1/2, 0.50 times 3/4, which is 0.75 as decimals. Now, you're not required, like you do when you add and subtract, to stack up the decimals and line them up, although it's a coincidence that's what's happening here. But what's really important when you multiply, you want to make sure that you're counting how many digits to the right of the decimal there are. There's a rule that we want to follow. So what's important when you're multiplying with decimals is understand how many digits are to the right of the decimal. Here there are 4 digits to the right of the decimal. And the rule is you're going to count the total digits to the right of the decimal, and then your final answer, I'm showing you down below, the final answer, you move the decimal that many times, in this case it's 4 times to the left, right? So we move that decimal 4 times to the left. Why? Because when we started to multiply, there are 4 digits to the right of the decimal. All right, let's just get to multiplying. 0 times 5 is 0. 0 times 7 is 0. Before I start to multiply with that next digit 5, I'm going to have a 0 in the placeholder. Now I can start to multiply. 5 times 5 is 25. I'm going to put my 5 here. I'm going to carry the 2. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 2 more is 37. I'm going to add the top values with the bottom values. Anything plus 0 is itself, so 3,750 plus 0 is 3,750. So now comes the final step that you need to take before your final answer. Again, you have to move. It's an invisible decimal, so I'm showing it to you now. You got to move it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times to the left. Place the decimal in front of the 3, and you have your final answer. 0.375, and I'm showing you invisible zeros. Will go on and on and on and on forever. 0.375 is all we really need. We don't have to show the placeholder of the zeros, but you could if you wanted to. Really, that's up to you, right? Or you can say this is 375 thousandths, right? 375 thousandths. All right, that's the first example. Stick around. I got a bunch more. Thank you for joining me. Math is easy. Take it step by step. If I've helped you, please help me to help others. Like, follow, share, and subscribe. Thank you for your time.